The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. For tread the circle thrice about, to keep unwelcome spirits out. Bide within the law you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Mind the threefold laws you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. These 8 words the read fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will.
Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. Now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Hey, Merry Meet everybody, and welcome to the last show of 2022. And it wouldn't be the end of a show or a year without Barry and Connie Strohm, hosts of Channeling History here on the Para X Radio Network on Sunday evenings. And they're joining me tonight to offer up some channeled predictions for the coming year. Now, we are taking questions from the chat room as usual, but we need to keep on the subject of predictions for the new year rather than personal predictions. But I promise to have Barry and Connie come back very soon, and we can do the personal information questions there. If you're not in the chat room and you're listening to the show live, why don't you join us at paraxradionetwork.com, and you might get some questions answered that, might help you get into the new year in the right frame of mind. So, Barry, Connie, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hey, yes, wouldn't be anywhere else. It's the last show of the year.
Well, not for me. Well, for me, yes. I'm sure you've got 4 or 5 still coming. It's only, Thursday? So.
Yeah. Well, well, we're very, very pleased that you would take the time to ask us back.
Well, always, you've got carte blanche. And there are times that, like the end of the year, that you do come back and yeah, you make it a good way to start the new year a little bit ahead of time. And we're talking about spirits are the ones that are predicting today or tonight. We don't know which ones are coming through, do we?
No. I've been warned ahead of time. I talked to Laura. She said that she would be doing some of the answers, but there would be other guides that would be coming forward as well. Because guides don't know everything. So certain guides can do certain subjects. So we never know what's going to happen or who's coming through.
And that's always a fun surprise, because I think one time, a long time ago, we had an alien come through, and that was interesting too. So, hey, everybody fasten your seatbelts. You're getting ready for a nice ride tonight.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. So my question is going to start out that it seems that there is so many things going wrong the past few months. Negative things. On a personal level, I had a childhood friend die. Another childhood friend lost her husband. Every time I turned around, somebody I knew was sick with a flu or cold or COVID. It's just one thing after another. And most people that I've talked to are saying the same thing. There's like a black cloud hovering over them as well. And I'm not even going to bring up what's going on in the news because, that's not so great either. So what's with all this heartbreak and illness and negativity?
Okay, this will be Laura speaking.
Okay.
You are correct. It does seem to be a time of great negativity. There has been so much that has taken place in the last year or two that is reflecting itself today. Keep in mind that during the shutdown for COVID, many people were isolated and they didn't have the antibodies that they would generally have from associating with groups of people. It will take time for people to build up their natural immune systems. That is part of the reason. There is also an aftermath from the virus that caused the COVID problems. That was not a natural virus. So there are continuing effects, and there will be into the future. A lot of people have taken advantage of what has taken place for the last several years. The lockdown has allowed many people to show the true evil that is in their hearts and take advantage. Yes, we over here do watch, and we do agree that is going to be a very difficult time now and for the near future. But you can also assure yourself that things will improve. It will just take some time to get over what has happened. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it just seems like the crazies are out in force. And somebody was, I forget who I was talking to the other day about this, but they were saying that people were getting messages from the other side that kind of sounded like it was the next coming of Christ, that something was really going to happen. And, you know, what they were saying a long time ago is, you know, all the good people went flying up and the rest of us have, you know, we're going down or something, you know, so something like that is going to happen. And a lot of people are getting scared about that because they're hearing that, you know, this is the end times rather than times of change.
Okay, I have an answer for that. I want everyone to understand one thing, and that there will never be an end time that I bring about. It is quite possible that evil can grow to the point that you humans can create an end time for yourselves. The ancients spoke of an end time to create fear. God will never create an end time. I have taken too much time and energy attempting to have humans evolve. Evil is truly growing, and it is up to the free will of humans to stop it. But whether evil is controlled or not, God will never create, nor are you in any type of end time that is brought about by heavenly sources.
Okay, I'm not trying to be glib about this, but there are so many very, very religious people in different religions that are waiting for that time because their time on earth, they're doing good and told if you do good, you're going to go to heaven. So that would be kind of disappointing to all those people that were waiting to be called back.
That is the fault of organized religions. That is not something that Jesus ever spoke of when he walked the earth. The concept of end times was created to create fear so that individuals would rely on the sacraments of the church or of religion to assure that their souls would return to heaven. Your soul will return to heaven. When you pass, that is the way of things.
So we're doing it on our time as opposed to end times, our own personal end times.
You humans will evolve or not according to your own free will. God wants you to advance. You have been sent back to learn. If you fail to learn, then it is quite possible that evil can take control and humans will create your own end times. There are many good people that do not understand the true concept of the passing of the soul, the judgment of the soul, and what takes place upon passing. Many fear death. Death is not to be feared because that is the beginning of the next cycle of the soul.
That's encouraging. It is. I've got a chat room question.
Okay.
He wants to know, are any miracles in store for us in the near future?
There are miracles occurring every day. If you want to see a true miracle, watch a newborn baby. That is one of the greatest miracles that God has ever given you. The fact that you are listening to our words tonight is a miracle. There will always be miracles, just the same as there will always be evil.
Okay. I'm talking about miracles and evil. I was curious, it just popped into my head. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with the United States, but it might be down the line. It's the question of what's going on in Russia with the Ukraine war. We're not in it now, but he keeps getting mad at us for helping out. So, I mean, what's going on with that? I mean, is the war going to keep on? Are NATO going to jump in, or is it just going to peter out itself in some way?
The war in the Ukraine is the personification of the evil that an individual can bring upon the multitudes. For years, the Russian people have been taken advantage of. They've been lied to. They have been told many things that are not true. The greed of the leadership of Russia has no bounds. There is absolutely no reason for what is currently taking place. Hundreds of thousands of individuals are losing their lives for no reason. The possession of weapons of mass destruction bring about questions of just how far evil will drive individuals. There is no short-term answer to what is taking place. The democracies of the world must assure that such weapons are controlled in the future. Many questions must be answered by the leaders of both sides. But there will be no real short-term answer until all leaders of the countries involved understand that peace and coexistence are the only answer.
Okay. And so we don't know if we're going to be dragged into it or not? Or maybe willingly go. Yeah.
The answer which you seek is one that cannot be disclosed. There are limits to what we can tell you of the future.
Mm-hmm.
We can guide, we can influence, but we cannot give definitive answers on things that would affect multiple individuals' life plans or their histories of self-determination, free will, and their decision on whether to follow the words of God or not.
Okay. Connie, I know you have a couple of questions that were niggling around in your brain. You throw one out of there.
You must be a little psychic, Marla.
Well, psychotic maybe, but yeah, okay.
Okay, we are told that there are 7 realms of heaven. How do your abilities to see the past and future vary as you advance in the realms of heaven?
You are correct that there are 7 realms or levels of heaven. How you access those realms are determined by how you live your lives. It takes many lives of service and understanding to ascend to the highest levels. Once you are in the highest level of heaven, your abilities to see the past and the future are basically unlimited. As your soul is in levels lower than the top level, your abilities decrease. Individuals or souls that are in the upper levels of heaven have much more abilities than any souls that are relegated to the lower levels. The lowest of the levels, 1, 2, or the third, even though they do blend together, those souls will have no abilities to see past or future. Okay, Marla?
Thank you.
All right. Now, I mean, we're kind of on the same subject, sort of, kind of. I want to talk about spirits, because we know that there's a certain way that they make predictions. Then, they have to be able to see the future to make a prediction. So that's part of the question. How do they see the future? But the other part is, who are these spirits? Are they a particular type of person that can get through to us? Is it, Uncle Charlie? Is it, someone, an archangel? I mean, who are these spirits that we're talking about first?
Your question is very complicated.
That's my job. Sorry.
Understand that there are multiple types of energies. There are soul energies and there are angelic energies. Angelic energies have never walked the earth. All soul energies have reincarnated many times in many different forms. Angelic energies have the ability to see forward and backwards and have basically no limitation. Soul energies' ability will depend on the level of which they are assigned in heaven. Energies that have served God many times are more trusted, and they will be given more abilities because they can be trusted to use those abilities wisely. Members of your family, their abilities will vary according to level. It may be that a family member can truly give you information within limitations that are assigned to them. There are advanced souls that act as spirit guides. Those guides are trusted souls, and they will know what information can be passed forth. There are souls that have not as yet entered heaven. Many souls fear judgment and decide not to truly enter the realms, but will remain earthbound or planet-bound, whatever they may be. Those souls will have no true abilities. They are mostly acting independently of guides. If a family member has entered heaven and is in an upper level, they have the ability to help guide incarnate souls. Many times actions that are considered those of a guardian angel can be attributed to family souls that are close and have committed acts to give you information that can maybe help get you out of a bad situation or perhaps even save your life. Okay?
Yeah. And so, okay, we had a medium on last week, and she was talking about us and going up to the astral plane and things like that. So how do the spirits do? I mean, they're up there already, so it might be easier to for them to know what's coming rather than us trying to figure it out, right?
Some spirits have no ability to look to the future or to the past. But there are many spirits that can look somewhat into the future or somewhat into the past.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I've got two questions in the chat room we better get to before I lose them.
Okay.
And one of them has to do with spirit guides. He says, what are the most common signs that our guides give us that we keep missing?
The most common signs are perhaps you have a dream that gives you information, or you have this feeling that you should do one thing. And the thing that you should be doing differs from what your personal choice would be. Your guide has tried to lead you, but your free will has led you away from that feeling of what you should be doing because of your personal desires. We will always try to lead you on the path that agrees with your life plan. If your personal desires go in directions opposite, then that is where your free will takes over, and you can follow the course, and quite often that will take you away from the life plan that you had when you return. And when you vary from that life plan, you are creating difficult situations.
Okay, another question. While we are here, is there any way to open yourself up spiritually and physically and enhance any abilities that you may have?
Yes, there are many ways. The easiest way is simply to avoid evil energies. Avoid toxicity in your life. Avoid things that lead you to feel depressed or unhappy. Helping others is one of the greatest ways to find happiness and enjoyment. Simply lead a good life. Do not be misled into thinking that greed, power, great wealth, that those things will automatically bring you to personal happiness. You will find that many people of great wealth are among the most unhappy people that you find. Meditate. Relax. Find ways of relaxation. Go for a walk in the woods. Do things that will raise your vibration level. Be around happy people. Avoid negativity. One thing that you can do is have a firm belief in the afterlife. Once you are removed of the fear of death, you will find that you will be much happier.
Some of that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Much easier said than done, yes.
Whoever coined that phrase was brilliant. I mean, because it was somebody probably that had it happen all the time. It just drove him crazy. All right. We're going to give you a break right now, and everybody else gets a break too. And we will be back in just about 2 minutes or so.
Stirring the Cauldron will be right back, so don't go away. If you end up with webbed feet, remember, you've been warned. Come explore an innovative oracle deck that looks into the world of the wise women, the healers, the seers, the witch. This powerful and insightful deck was created by Marla Brooks, host of Stirring the Cauldron on the Para X radio network, and beautifully illustrated by Anya Khan. It includes an easy-to-read booklet and guide with straightforward, gentle guidance on using the deck and interpreting the messages of the cards. And unlike other oracle decks, each card comes with its own personalized magical incantation that provides energy, reinforces the card's meaning, and helps the desired message to be sent out into the universe. The Witch's Oracle is the ideal divination deck for witches and non-pagans alike, and it works well for both seasoned readers and beginners. To find out more about the Witch's Oracle deck, go to www.marlabrooks.com and click on the Oracle deck link.
Hey everyone, it's Marla. If you like tonight's episode of Stirring the Cauldron and the archive podcast as well, take a look at the show's YouTube channel and check out the dozens of shows that are there just waiting to be heard. New shows are added each week, and while you're there, why not subscribe? It's free. And if you click on that tiny little bell icon at the top of the page, you'll be notified when new shows are available. Just go to youtube.com and then type in Stirring the Cauldron Para X, and the link will appear. Just like magic.
Hi, Barry McGuire here, inviting you to come along with Marla Brooks, and let's start stirring the cauldron together on Para X.
Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks, Thursdays at 9 o'clock on Para X.
You are listening to Stirring the Cauldron on the Para X Radio Network. And now, here's Marla Brooks.
Hi, and we are back with my guests, Barry Strohm and Connie Strohm, and we're talking about predictions for 2023. And, it's going to be a little tough going so far, but maybe, during the show, something will come up and we can be happy to look forward to. There's another question in the chat room. And he says, how do you explain the time when I saw the Space Shuttle Challenger blow up in midair and split off into plumes of smoke hours before it happened? But it wasn't a vision. It was more like a recalled memory of an event that had already taken place. He said, it was so real, I called home and told my wife to record the event and explain why. There you go.
It is possible that a soul can time travel forward or back in a very simple manner. You probably had a time where your soul could see into the future. Keep in mind that the dimensional veil between the living and past can be very transitional and at times very thin. There have been times in the past that individuals have truly seen the future, and many of you would possibly refer to that as deja vu. What you experienced was a distortion or warp in the dimensional changes that we refer to as time on your planet. Okay.
Yeah. People in the chat room want to know a little bit more about what they can expect in 2023.
"2023 is going to be a time of transition. It will be a time where individuals will be given the choice between following paths of evil or having the ability to change the lives of others towards doing good. 2023 is going to be a time of difficulty. It will be a time of what you refer to as inflation. It will be a time where individuals are going to have problems caring for their families, taking care of them, feeding them. It will be a time where individuals will make choices. They will turn to electing individuals that do not care about their personal power and wealth. God wants humans to select individuals to participate in their political systems that will show love and care and hope to all of the individuals that live in their jurisdictions. The difficulties that individuals are facing now are basically man-made. Individuals must change their way of doing things. They must rely on political systems that do truly help others and have everyone's best interest at heart. 2023 is going to be a time of violence created by the more difficult living conditions. The sooner individuals decide that they must pursue love towards others, coexist, help others, the sooner they will recover from these tough times. 2023 will definitely be a decision point for humans.
A decision point for humans, like we have to make up our minds and it'll kind of go our way if we do it the right way, kind of thing, or what?
If individuals follow the simple concept of doing unto others as they would have them do unto you, then things will turn around. People will be conscious of helping others, and things will improve. If you allow your political systems to continue on the path of destruction, then things will not change.
Okay, we're doomed.
It could be.
Yeah. Another chat room question. Will there be any progress made to help end gun violence in 2023?
The growth in gun violence is in many instances the result of lessening respect for your peacemakers. If law and order becomes a secondary issue, then gun violence will certainly increase. Keep in mind that gun violence is just one simple way of violence towards others that attracts much attention in your press. There are many other instances of violence, of hatred, of showing negativity towards many others that does not get the attention. For instance, not caring for the homeless. Many cities allow the homeless to suffer. This leads to violence, much of which is never reported. Violence towards others is something that needs to end, and it will only end when you show caring and love to the individuals around you. Poverty is a true cause of violence. If you address the causes of poverty, then you will see violence decrease. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Another question. How can we get our public leaders to start showing respect to each other again?
The only way, in many instances, that this will happen is if you replace your leaders. Political power has become so ingrained in many individuals that they will refuse to give it up. You need to assure that foundational politicians, such as school boards, lower level elected officials, county officials, if you elect individuals at the lower levels that will cooperate with each other and do what's best for the people, then those individuals in the future will run for higher office, and the process will go a long way towards healing itself. Political individuals that refuse to cooperate, refuse to do what's right, have no regard for religious freedom, no regard for what the majority of the individuals want or require. Politics starts at the lower level. It will not be until you have local politicians understand that they need to get along and cooperate to fulfill what the people want. It will only be after that takes place that you will be able to remove individuals from political office that only care about themselves.
Well, that's what I was going to mention too, because it used to be that political leaders and leaders in general were doing things for the good of the public. And in the last few years, it seems like all of those leaders are not driven from the heart, they're driven by ego. And I think that makes it a very big mishmash there.
You are correct.
And it's and political parties have absolutely nothing to do with it. It's the same with both parties.
Yeah. So that's definitely a problem. I mean, where do you go back to the thing that we were taught, to help others before we help ourselves, that was lost a long time ago.
Yeah, one thing we've been hearing in a lot of our messages is that we have to start with the young, with the children. That technologies had led them away from understanding or believing in God, And the young today, they're the leaders of tomorrow. So if you can indoctrinate the young to help others to understand the importance of coexistence and cooperation, then when they become the leaders, it'll be pretty much automatic. But man, what we got today is just a cesspool.
And we're not going to see it probably get fixed for another couple generations then, if that's the case.
Well, sadly, that's the
I
case.
think you're right.
I mean, we've a lot of our younger generations around today, they've been misled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there goes that free will thing again.
That's right, and that's what the message was in the beginning. It's going to be up to us.
Yeah, and it's just, it's funny how sometimes you're thinking people will get angry at God for doing that because they're saying, well, maybe it's like we're an experiment for him. And let's give these humans the ability to guide themselves, and let's see if they trip over or if they do good. And I mean, who knows?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, God gave us a set of commandments to live by. And if we follow those commandments, we live a good life and we're happy. But he gives us free will because we have to either grow or diminish our souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tells us how to do it, but he gives us free will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like an oxymoron, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the moron part is more applicable right now. But no, it's so simple. It comes down to doing unto others as you want them to do to you. Don't take advantage of others if you don't want to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But when you see these politicians that are poor spend millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to get a job that pays $150,000 a year, you got to stop and ask yourself, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Because they're also paid from other directions.
Under the table. But I don't know. But so one of the other things that I think is really hitting everybody is the price of groceries. Everything has gone up and up, and it's ridiculous. Now, is that because they're still getting healed from COVID, or is there something else in the works going on? Because, I mean, a loaf of bread for $6, and that's just regular Oro wheat bread, is really a stupid price.
Oh, yeah.
And here in LA, it might be a little higher than other places, but still, I mean, it's totally ridiculous. You have to either buy things with coupons or follow the sales or give up something to replace something else that you can't get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's okay. Now, this is not a spirit speaking. This is me. This is what you're seeing is the result of what has taken place. That whole lockdown thing, this is what it brought about. Yeah. If you're locking people down, they can't go to work. There's no choice, but prices are going to go up from shortages. I mean, it's just simple supply and demand.
Yeah.
When you can't go to work, you're not making supplies, and demand's going to remain the same because of population.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've channeled too much about conspiracies. And don't get me started on this one.
Yeah.
Another thing with the increased price in food is it costs more to get the food delivered to the grocery stores now because of the gas prices.
And I mean, look at what's happening with the price of diesel versus gasoline. That is a synthetic price increase. I mean, it does not cost diesel, gasoline. It doesn't cost a whole lot of difference to make it. But the profit margin on diesel now is incredible. If you look at the oil companies, their profits are setting records.
Yeah.
And it's the cabal that's running our country right now is just, they could care less about us. All they want to do is make us totally dependent upon the government.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you see the dependency, the more it's going to continue, because that's what they want.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about medicine for a minute.
Okay.
Are there going to be any really good news about certain things, just cancer or Parkinson's or something? Or are they getting to the point where some of these horrible diseases are being able to get under control and maybe even sometimes healed?
Okay, this is channel, it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
Your people have been making incredible advances. We have guided them. We have shown them what they need to do. We've shown them how to make drugs. And we have given humans natural cures that can help. Once again, greed has caused many of these medical advances to be kept either a secret or to have been priced so high that individuals cannot take advantage of it. You have seen examples during the COVID outbreak where there were cheap drugs that could have helped, could have saved many lives, but the pharmaceuticals did not allow public information about those drugs. Sadly, there are many cures available that have been kept a secret. We have done our best to influence research from this side, and much of it has been successful. But sadly, evil and greed has kept many of these drugs from becoming public knowledge.
And I think, well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No, I was just going to say sorry about that one.
No, yeah. But the thing of it is, too, I think people are now getting more and more interested in holistic medicine and the cures and the herbs. And I mean, I've had so many people on my show that write books about wellness and healing, and it's all, holistic medicine. And if you think about it, that's how medicine, the pharmaceuticals came to be, because, aspirin came from a certain plant. And then, so it's just, the difference is that holistic medicine isn't full of chemicals as well as the initial ingredient. So, I mean, that's in our good, if we trust that and just do something like that, that makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. But the pharmaceuticals are just pure evil.
Yeah, that and insurance companies. I don't know. I mean,
we're all combined. They're all in it together. It's this huge conspiracy. Here I go again.
There you go. Well, there are a ton of conspiracies out there, so you just have to kind of jump over the hoops and everything. But okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is next year going to be for most people?
It is impossible to just give a single number.
You can give two.
For individuals that are struggling at this time, their struggles will be worse. For the average individual, it will be more difficult, but it will not be impossible. For the wealthy individuals, nothing will change.
Some of that should be mindset. And, if we can keep the negativity out of our minds, because we bring it in sometimes needlessly, we start thinking and churning and then we bring that black cloud over our heads. So maybe it's up to us, in a sense. We can't fight City Hall or anything, but we can make our own personal lives better if we try to get in the right frame of mind, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. If the old golden rule again, you just do the best you can do. Help others. There's nothing makes you happier than helping other people.
Well, we have to think of ourselves and family and loved ones and trying to make things a little bit better for us as we go along. And there are ways, it's just one of those things that it's up to us, and don't turn on the radio. Don't turn on the TV. Don't read the newspapers every single day. Don't worry about the elections when they're coming. They're coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's certain things that we can fix and certain things that we can't. And so, this question's been asked twice, and we've got a couple minutes. Is the work of yours and Connie going to blossom in the future?
We pray for that. Well,
we do the best we can. We're seeing more and more people get involved. I bring the books of information to people. Sadly, they don't take advantage of it, but we will continue to do our work until we can't do it anymore. And it's all we can do is make the information available. If individuals don't take advantage of it, well, then that's out of our hands.
All right. We've got 2 minutes and a little bit less. So where can people find you? Talk about the show and books. And, if you can talk really fast, you'll get it in 2 minutes. Okay.
Best way to see, we've got around 370 videos on YouTube channel. It's in my name, Barry Strohm, Strohm. I now have 9 books up on Amazon that have been published. The most recent one is Modern Messages of God. It's a transcript, 60 transcripts of our messages we received on the Wednesday podcast. It's a great daily devotional book. You can hear our show on ParaX Sunday nights. We do Channeling History, where we talk to a historic figure. We've even had roundtable discussions with multiple spirits on our radio show. So you might want to check that out. So we're not really hard to find. Plus, we show up here every once in a while.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting poked that we got 30 seconds. So thank you, guys.
Okay.
We will have you back soon. And thank you for listening in, everybody. And until next time, blessed be, and merry meet again, and Happy New Year. Good night.
This has been another edition of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Be sure to tune in next week at the same time for another great guest and more fun. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without permission is strictly prohibited.
You have been listening to the ParaX Radio Network.